This is In Character. I'm your host, Gerard Robinson, Vice President for Education at the Advanced Studies in Culture Foundation.
And tonight in Character, we have Phil Wilson. Phil, I'm delighted to be here with you. I'm honored to be here with you. And you are one of my edu heroes. And so I'd like to start with a simple question. Who is Phil?
Well, Katherine, thank you. And Gerard, thank you for hosting and for having us and for having the voices of teachers, which I think during this time is really, really important. Who is Phil? What a question. I don't think I've ever been asked the question. I am one who I can say a person who is selfless, or at least I try to look at the plight of other people and try to make other people's lives better with the intention of trying to make my own life better. So through helping and serving others, I do try to do that, which is part of the reason why I chose education to go into, because through passing that light on to children, you know, those same children that I teach will be doctors and nurses and music teachers one day. And I'm going to need somebody to take care of me. So I believe wholeheartedly that what you put out into the atmosphere is what you will one day receive back. So I am a giver, musician by training, not the best musician, but one who will try to continue to be better, to practice, to listen, to learn, to impart knowledge, and to teach others to enjoy the music as well. So again, a loaded question with who am I? But that's just a little bit of who I am, a compassionate person who really loves to give as much as I possibly can so that I can receive later on.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And as someone who is a music teacher, and I believe at the elementary level.
Correct, yes.
You are someone who inspires young people, very young people, to explore areas that perhaps they never thought about exploring. Mm-hmm. How do you do that? How do you encourage students to start to think about, hey, I might want to play a musical instrument?
That is an awesome question. I personally believe that if you allow children the latitude to explore things that they don't know about, you can incite the knowledge. Now, I am not a fool, and I don't believe that every child that I teach will become a music educator or will even join high school bands or college bands or anything like that. But what I do want them to understand is the importance of music in our society, because those students will become our tomorrow's voters. So that when school budgets come up and they're looking at cutting arts funding, they're the ones who say, you know what, I had an elementary music teacher that taught me that music and the arts in general were very important. Those are the people who may on the side have an instrument just in their house. They may fiddle around with a guitar, or ukulele these days is the more prominent instrument to play. And their kid may see that and say, hey, Dad, Mama, what is that instrument? And so they can pick it up. And so you're getting that instrument, that love of music kind of out there. I love the fact that music is such a social and emotional thing. There's not very many people in this world who can't be soothed by some form of music, who can't be brought to happiness, to tears, or even their depression realized through some music, because the more we can get through that, the better we can learn how to deal with it. So imparting that knowledge to students is very, very important to me, whether it be me showing them how to play an instrument myself, showing them the types of music that I like to listen to, and even hearing what it is that they like to listen to, and then melding the two. But just sharing those experiences is a very, very important thing, I think, to make kids understand the value of music and to grow an appreciation for it.
Beautiful answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
And as the parent of a young man who started playing music in elementary school thanks to a music teacher and is today a professional musician, thank you. Having watched him grow up as a musician, I know how important the role of resilience is in music. you were part of the group that talked about building a culture of resilience through teaching. Can you talk a little bit about the role of resilience in music education?
You know, in our world, you know, I've lived here for 40 years plus. Um, it's hard to make a mistake and the world not call you out for making the mistake. It is really, really hard. And when you make that mistake and the world calls you out for it, it kind of brings you into your shell like a turtle, and you don't want to make that mistake again. So what do? You shy away from those types of things. I can remember math teachers, as hard as they would try, would try to teach me how to do math computations. And I mean, it just was not happening. And then when I got it finally with one teacher, it's like, wow, the world has opened up. And so now I can pursue it. The arts, music specifically, or I'll speak to music, allows you to make those mistakes and nobody judges you for those. Some of the best mistakes in this world have been musical mistakes, and they turned out to be the most beautiful thing. Imagine if you're singing something and it's scripted and it's written out, and you just go off key some and you're doing your own thing, and somebody looks at you and they say, "What are you doing? Like, that's not written. You've invented something new and I love it, and it's called scatting, or it's called, you know, runs." It's called all sorts of things. So I think music is the one place where kids can feel free to make a mistake and it be okay. In making those mistakes and those mistakes being okay, I think we start to build on the resiliency. I said during our last meeting, the podcast, that practice makes perfect. And of course, we know that that's not true. In our society, perfect practice makes perfect. So it's not the way you perform, it's the way you practice it. So again, if kids make those mistakes during the practice, as a musician, I may say that is just wonderful. Let's keep that in and do it for the performance. And there is no such thing as a perfect anything. There was only one who walked this earth who was perfect, in my opinion. So nothing is perfect. So in order to teach children resiliency, we have got to allow them the latitude, the comfort to make those mistakes and say those mistakes are okay. And in my opinion, that's what helps the resiliency to build.
Thank you so much for that deeply thoughtful answer. And I love the idea that out of mistakes comes
Yeah,
something brilliant and beautiful.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
And
Phil, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, if you think about an artist's brush, I'm so sorry, I won't take up much time. If
No,
you think about an artist and all of the colors that an artist creates, you know, they don't intend to make that particular shade. They add in whatever they do and it just happens. You know, when we add instruments into the mix to create different textures, it becomes something that is just beautiful. And I think this world is beautiful, and it can be even more beautiful when we add more diversity. I think diversity also creates resiliency. But I just love the fact that being comfortable to make mistakes in my classroom is an okay.
and I thank you for allowing children that freedom
Yes,
and for
yeah,
allowing them to learn that some of the most important things that we learn because of mistakes. So
absolutely.
Phil, thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for being the wonderful educator that you are. And it was just a delight to have these few minutes just alone with you.
Yeah,
So thank you. And please be safe as you continue this school year.
I so appreciate you, and thank you for all of the work that you're doing. You've become just one of our national sheroes. So we
Oh,
appreciate that, for all the work that you do. So thank you.
thank you, Phil. Have a good rest of your week.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.